Interesting stories, but we're starting with, well, Scarlett Johansson, elegant, talented, quite a lady. She lives here in Paris. The SodaStream ad controversy is what we're picking up on, of course. The advertisement has been banned from the Super Bowl, which of course means when anything gets banned, it goes viral, doesn't it? So everyone's a winner.
I think it might have been part of the strategy. Now, before we get to the bigger controversy that's been occupying the media's attention, let's take a look first of all at the advertisement and maybe what the strategy was behind it, Mark. Because what they did was they slipped in at the end of the advertisement. Now, SodaStream, of course, is a carbonated drinks company. You can carbonate your own drinks at home. And they made a reference, she makes a reference at the end of the advertisement to Coca-Cola and Pepsi, basically saying, sorry, Coke and Pepsi. In other words, they're sugary, they're unhealthy, and SodaStream is better for you. That's the whole advertising pitch. But the problem is Pepsi is sponsoring the Super Bowl's halftime show, so they got onto Fox News, or to Fox Television, and Fox requested that the last line be dropped, which meant that there was then, let's take a look on the computer, an uncensored version of the advertisement online, right? Which obviously led people to click on it, thinking that there might be, some very nice pictures of Scarlett Johansson, maybe undressing, or I don't know what, because uncensored would suggest that it's a bit more risque than that.
Raunchy, she was like.
So in any case, it went viral, 5 million plus views, and that's exactly what SodaStream was looking for. Except, Mark, they got more of a viral effect than they were hoping for, because Scarlett Johansson is also the face, or one of the ambassadors of Oxfam, which is an NGO that fights poverty and injustice, etc. So you had images like this that started going around social media where they were placing Scarlett Johansson on front of images from the West Bank or from settlements, etc., or the wall, the infamous wall, essentially drawing a connection between her image, the company SodaStream, and settlements, right? So that's obviously not as positive for the image of SodaStream, who do have a factory in Ma'al Adumim, which is a settlement in the West Bank, right? Now, the next thing that happened was she said, hold on, I'm going to write a piece on the Huffington Post, I'm going to clear the air. And I'll give you a quote from what she said. She said, I remain a supporter of economic cooperation and social interaction between a democratic Israel and Palestine. She was pointing out that from her point of view and from SodaStream's point of view, this is a company that supports neighbours who work alongside each other, equal pay for Palestinians and Israelis working there, equal rights, equal benefits. That's what's happening there every day of the week. So she says, actually, the fact that this factory is in this settlement is a good thing for these populations cooperating with each other. That's not the point of view of Oxfam and of critics of SodaStream. They said in their website today, because they have now parted ways, Oxfam believes that businesses such as SodaStream operating in settlements further the ongoing poverty and denial of rights of the Palestinian communities we work to support. In other words, the fact that there's this factory there undermines a two-state solution. So it's a very complicated one, and she found herself right in the middle of that thorny dispute.
Do you think she's come out of this well?
Well, she backed SodaStream.
Because anybody turning away from Oxfam, surely that looks bad, doesn't it?
I think it doesn't look good, the fact that you've turned your back on Oxfam, but I suppose it'll come down to whether or not you support the existence of settlements or whether or not you support a two-state solution. I think people who feel strongly about that issue will also feel strongly about how she has dealt with it, right? Perhaps one final article that I think is worth pointing out, this is in the Financial Times by Gideon Rachman. Now, what he says is you have this growing BDS movement, boycott, divestment, sanctions movement. In other words, boycott Israeli products if they are produced in the West Bank, etc. Now, what we've seen with the Johansson affair is a boost for the sanctions drive because it's great publicity for a movement that has been struggling to make headlines. Now, what he's pointing out in this article is that the two-state solution, there are negotiations coming up soon. John Kerry will be rolling out his plan for a two-state solution. It's not likely that they're going to work out. And if they don't work out, we could see a growth in these economic sanctions. We saw it with Scarlett Johansson. We might be seeing more of it, Mark.
James, thank you very much indeed. So Scarlett Johansson, elegant, talented, and in the middle of a world political storm, it seems, and all because of a few bubbles.
Indeed.
You might put it. James Krugman, Media Watch, thank you very much indeed,
Thanks,
sir.
Mark.
Good to see you. We take a short break. After that, return with another World News update and, of course, our eye on Africa. But in the news, the situation in Ukraine, one of our main stories. President Yanukovych accusing the opposition of inflaming the situation. Stay with us.